ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ Verse 53. क्षयातिशयदोषेण स्वर्गो हेयो यदा तदा स्वयं दोषतमात्मायं कामादिः किन्न हीयते. So after introducing Ishwar Srushta Dvaitam and Jiva Srushta Dvaitam in the first 31 verses of this chapter, now Vidyaranya establishes that of these two types of Dvaitam, well, Jiva Dvaitam is a cause of a samsara, is a cause of a bondage. And this was established between verse number 32 to verse number 37. Now from 38 to 66, those verses deal with the main topic of this chapter, Brahmajnanena Jiva Srushta Dvaita Nivritti. If Jiva Srushta Dvaitam is a cause of a bondage, well, then it should be removed. And it should be removed with the help of a Vastu which is Advaitam, and that is Brahman. So Brahmajnanena, well, definitely Jiva Srushta Dvaita Nivritti. That's the main topic, in fact, of the chapter. And then, something more about Jiva Srushta Dvaitam Vidyaranya talks about in these verses, and that it is of two types. Jiva Srushta Dvaitam also is of two types, and this is Shastriya Dvaitam and Ashastriya Dvaitam. Ashastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam again divided into two, Tivram and Mandam. So after describing all these three types of Dvaitam, I mean Shastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, Tivra Asastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, Manda Asastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. Now first he dealt with the Shastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam, and he said, well, it is to be retained initially, because this Shastriya Jiva Srushta Dvaitam means Vedanta Vichara. Then, the teaching of the Vedanta, one gets exposed to the teaching of the Vedanta, therefore definitely a teacher also is there, and infrastructure is there, Shastra is there, and therefore Ishvara is there, everything is there. Religious life is there, all this is there. This is all Dvaitam. And therefore, so once Vedanta Vichara has done, and once a person gets a benefit of knowledge, well, it should be given up. It will be given up. Why it should be given up? All because once you get a clarity of Advaita Vastu, this will drop. The division between Jiva and Ishvara itself gets dropped. The division between Jiva, that person, seeker, and the teacher, the student and the teacher gets dropped. So that automatically drops. Need not be it should be given up. It will automatically drop. It will automatically drop means what? Physically it will drop from your hand? No. It's not like that. It will drop means it is mithya. There is a mithyatva nishchaya is a dropping. Anyway, and then he quoted several Upanishad mantras also well, about this Shastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, and he gave an example, if you remember, of a paddy in which, well, you bring the paddy, which is nothing but a husk plus grain, right? And well, you are interested in the grain, so you retain the grain and husk is given up. Same with this Shastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, well, you should bring in your life. It is there already, but then let it retain. You retain them, and then you get an advantage. An advantage is nothing but you gain a knowledge. That is like gaining the grain from paddy, and then give up like a husk. Then this Shastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam also can be given up. So then, this is regarding Shastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam. Then he talked about Asastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, and that too Tivram and Mandam. Tivram means we have seen Kama Krodhadikam. Nothing but is Kama Krodha, or it can be called Malam, it can be called Ragadvesha, etc. So, and Vidyaranya said everyone should remove these impurities, Malam, etc. That is Tivra Shastriya Jiva Sushtadvaitam, and also Mandam. That is nothing but a Manorajyam, wandering of the mind. Without even Ragadvesha, it keeps wandering. Well, one should have a focused mind also through Upasana, etc. So, Vedantic study, so this impurities basically, one should have, it is desirable that one is relatively free from Ragadveshas and one is relatively free from the wandering mind. It is desirable. Even before one starts, one gets exposed to the teaching. One starts Shravanam. So that is desirable. More these things, more one is free from this Malam and Vikshepa, then the Shravanam becomes more effective. If Shravanam becomes more effective, the reception would be more. If reception would be more the clarity. And then definitely, and retention also will be more. And therefore the chances of assimilation of the knowledge will be more. And therefore then, one gains a goal of the life, moksha also, easily. So it's desirable that one will have one will have a freedom from these two impurities even before one starts listening to the Shastras, etc. But I don't think generally it is there. Persons, because of his own karma, especially Punya karma, one gets exposed to the teaching, and definitely then if he likes the teaching, etc., if he likes the teaching of this Vedanta, etc., definitely the person must have to the extent Ragadvesha must have comparatively the impurities would be less. If person is having too much of Ragadvesha for the worldly pleasures and everything, well, definitely one cannot appreciate this kind of thing. Definitely one cannot appreciate. So if you are able to appreciate, means your mind is little sattvic. So and therefore definitely one gets exposed to the teaching, one has a relatively a free mind compared to from the Ragadvesha and this Vikshepa also. And then one has to work upon. One Shastra once you start Shravan, you will be automatically advised for Karma Yoga also. And therefore, definitely Karma Yoga will reduce the dharmic life, the religious life will definitely reduce Ragadvesha. Even dharmic life, religious life means you are inculcating new Ragadveshas. That is what Dharma is. And therefore, you are basically, it's not that one is becoming free from the Ragadvesha. You pick up new Ragadvesha. That is how it is. Religious life means what? You do this, you don't do this. This is not good for you, this is good for you. Because this is new Ragadvesha. It is there only. But those Ragadveshas belong to Shastra. And therefore, you knock off your Ragadvesha born of the ignorance pertaining to Jiva by the Ragadvesha of Ishvara. Shastra's Ragadvesha is Ishvara's Ragadvesha. Yeah. That's for, I think in Ramanujacharyaji, while defining Sharanagati, surrender, he defines some 6 ways of surrender to the Ishvara. One of them is this. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam. Anukulyasya sankalpaha. Anukulam. Anukulam is favorable. Favorable to whom? Favorable to Ishvara. One adopts what is favorable to Ishvara. What is favorable to Ishvara is favorable to me. This is a new raga. What is unfavorable to Ishvara is not favorable, is unfavorable to me. What is unfavorable to Ishvara is unfavorable to me. So you basically, this is a one type of Sharanagati to Ishvara. Anukulyasya sankalpaha pratikulyasya varjanam. What is pratikulam? What is unfavorable to Ishvara? Well, I don't want. What is anukulam to him is anukulam to me, etc. Like that. So anyway, Shastriya Ragadvesha. Bringing Shastriya Ragadvesha into our life and removing our Ragadvesha, I mean neutralizing basically. So Karma Yoga is a good scheme. And what is Karma Yoga? Well, go back to chapter 3 of anyway. And then second is this Upasana. Upasana also is very good. Ishta Devata Upasana, etc. Upasana is of various types. Even you chant mantra mentally is also Upasana. You chant the entire stotra also is a Upasana. Well, you do mental puja, I mean Manas puja also is a Upasana. Anything you do mentally relating to Ishvara. You relate to Ishvara and you do. So maybe a stotra, I mean a parayanam, or it may be a japa, it may be a puja, just mentally. And without using your tongue, etc. I mean speech, etc. or even body, etc. So just at the level of mind. And therefore, Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara Dhyanam. Saguna Brahma Vishaya, Ishvara Manasa Vyapara. Just Manasa, activity at the level of mind. Manasa Vyapara pertaining to Saguna Brahma, Ishvara, etc. Well, that is very essential. So we have a place. If somebody told me, whenever this meditation, etc. comes, some allergy occurs to you. It's not like that. It's not like that. One should know the role of this meditation. In fact, Nirguna Brahma Upasana is going to come in this Pancadasi itself. We are going to discuss the significance of a Nirguna Brahma Upasana also. Not just Saguna Brahma Upasana. Right now I am talking to you Saguna Brahma Upasana. Nirguna Brahma Upasana also is helpful to the person who has a lot of exposure to the Shravanam, Mananam, etc. but yet he is not gaining Jnana. Then how Nirguna Brahma Upasana can help, Vidyaranya is going to discuss in chapter 9. And so we'll see that also. So we are not, totally having a aversion towards meditation, etc. But meditation gives you moksha, there we have aversion. Yeah, that we can't accept. Because moksha has something to do with the knowledge. And knowledge can never occur in a samadhi, etc. That kind of a meditation, because everything is resolved. Samadhi is like sushupti. It's almost similar, in which one is aware of the state, in the other you are not aware of the state. That's the only difference between the two. And therefore sushupti, nobody gains a knowledge, because all the means of knowledge are resolved. Same way in samadhi also, deliberately you have resolved all these means of knowledge. I mean mind and senses and everything. And therefore you are not going to gain knowledge. Somebody says, if senses are resolved, that is okay. But mind, it is awake, and therefore knowledge should take place. If mind is not an instrument, mind is not a means of knowledge. Mind is not a independently means of knowledge. We have to know this thing. Mind is basically a processor, and the data basically is generated through the senses. It is get processed in the mind. If mind independently can gain some kind of a knowledge, we have to forget it. And but Swamiji, what about even senses are not that you gain a knowledge of time and space and other things. Well, even if the senses are not functioning, yeah, that's correct. But that knowledge is gained by the sakshi. That's how we say witness perception and sense perception. We have only two types of perceptions. Perceptions with the knowledge. And ultimately that is either through the witness. So, but mind independently is not a means of knowledge. And so in samadhi, suppose a mind is awake. They resolve the mind in fact. But anyway, if mind is even awake, just independently, it won't get. And therefore, moksha cannot happen with the help of a meditation. That we should be clear. But it doesn't mean meditation is useless. Meditation has a tremendous use also, so far as sadhanam is concerned. Anyway, so right now, so here and then, based on a status of raga, dvesha, etc. in the mind, we have graded the three types of students also, manda, madhyama and uttamaha. And Mandadhikari faces no problem because he does not receive the knowledge. Once you receive the knowledge, then the problem will be there whether I will be able to retain or this or that, etc. Manda is means he has not received any knowledge because of the intense ragadveshas, etc. And Uttama Adhikari also has no problem at all because he has gained Jnana Nishtha, and therefore definitely he has completed the journey. Now what we cannot talk anything about what is going on about the means, because through the means he has gained the end also. So only problem is basically with the Madhyamadhikari. So this person, in fact, Uttamadhikari is an ideal model of Vedanta. That's how Nachiketa is a model. Nachiketa is a model in the Vedanta Shastra. Everybody wants to be Nachiketa. It is good. Everyone wants to be Nachiketa with a full of Viveka, Vairagya, etc. and all. I even like Nachiketa, I can also tell to Yavaraja, I don't want this and that, and you're this imported cars and this. I don't want even a long life and these. And so we feel that I should also have this kind of a thing, etc. But anyway, so Uttamadhikari is a model. But Mandadhikari, we cannot, he is not in the purview at all. He is not at all under the discussion because he has not even received the knowledge. Where is the question of going further? So Madhyamadhikari is focused here because of, and he has a partial condition of the mind in which he has received the knowledge but he does not have a Jnana Nishtha. He has not assimilated. And therefore, basically Nishtha is not there with him. So he is called Jnani. One who gains Jnanam, you and me are also called Jnani. One who gains a knowledge of engineering, we call the engineer. And therefore we all are called Jnani because we have received knowledge. But due to lack of Nishtha, the phalam of the knowledge is not there. And the Vidyaranya warned this Adhikari in verse number 51 and says that, well, you have received knowledge, a lot of there is there in your intellect. So why can't you convert this partial situation? Reception is there, but retention is not there, and therefore assimilation is not there. So it's a partial condition. So why don't you convert this partial condition into basically a situation, total situation, in which reception also should be there, retention should be there, and therefore assimilation also can happen, nishtha can happen, and therefore, well, this partial condition, something is responsible for this partial condition. And what is responsible? This kama, krodha, etc. you have not handled totally. And therefore, you have partially, and therefore you have received the knowledge, but handle them properly with a continuous awareness, etc. And that has been, so that's how Madhyam Adhikari is under discussion right now. And how to handle this Raga Dvesha? Well, there is a single line we can say. This requires a auto-suggestion in the morning, alertness throughout the day, and introspection in the night before you go to sleep. Auto-suggestion in the morning, alertness throughout the day, and introspection in the night. That no physical, verbal or mental action should take place without this. That's how. This is how we can handle this malam, especially raga, dvesha, etc. But that is, you are saying all this. You have to just speak at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 in the evening. You have to speak. We don't know whether what is your condition, Swami. Anyway, so basically, so it is not easy. This Madhyamadhikari says this is all good in a speech. It is not easy. And therefore, well, this is a partial condition I have, no problem. But I have got Jnanam. You also told me Jnani, right? Yeah, I told you Jnani. Okay. So, well, if Jnanam is there, Punarjanma will not be there. And therefore, at least Videha Mukti I will get. And then I have just few years to manage, right, before this Prarabdha is over. And with the mind, with what kind of mind I have to bear? Well, all this Malam and Vikshepa and etc. is there. I will bear with it. And not only that, Ragadveshas etc. are there, and then definitely, well, I will try to fulfill also. If it is too much of pressure, it builds up, I will fulfill Ragadvesha, and I will, I will go through this life, and since I have Jnanam, well, once the prarabdha is over and the body falls, I am going to get a Videha Mukti. So I will vote for the Videha Mukti. I don't vote for Jnana Nishtha and Jivan Mukti, etc. You say Jnana Nishtha means assimilation of knowledge. For that you should have your mind should be free from malam and vikshepa, etc. to a large extent, etc. I don't bother because I don't think anybody can handle this. During the daytime one has to be very much alert, etc. That is not possible. This is all talk. This is a pep talk, whatever. So we just don't want that. Anyway, so I will allow my kama krodha to run. And so, well, what is wrong in my philosophy? What do you say, Vidyaranya Swami? Well, Vidyaranya says, if you are very much interested, if you are not interested in this Jivan Mukti, well, and you want to allow this Kama, Krodha or Raga, Dvesha, so you allow and you have interest in a certain bhoga, etc., in pleasures, etc., why can't you choose Swarga rather than Videha Mukti? So, because you will get better pleasures over there. In fact, Videha Mukti is an obstacle to heavenly pleasures, and therefore don't vote for Videha Mukti. Well, better vote for in next Janma. Start praying that next Janma you will be in Swarga. That's a better way for you. So, then he became a philosopher. Now he became a philosopher. He says, well, any pleasure, basically has 3 types of dosha. Now philosophy has come. So first is, the first defect is dukkha mishritatva. Nothing comes free. You only say, right? So prapte raksha, so while acquiring you will have a dukkham. When you are acquiring, you will have a dukkham. Rakshane dukkham. Well, you have to maintain them. Definitely there is a dukkham. And then viyoga dukkham. So definitely, and when viyoga happens, and it is going to happen, there will be dukkham. So any pleasure is all the time adulterated with the dukkham. Before gaining also dukkham, after gaining also maintaining them as it is also, so that they can give pleasure, dukkham, and they give away, they go away, and therefore there is a dukkham. So basically it is dukkha mishritatva. That's the first dosha in any pleasure. And therefore I don't want Swarga. Okay. Second dosha also is there. What is that? Atrupti karatva. Even if I go to Swarga, I am sure that there is going to be taratamya. So there is going to be, because if I get they are going to give me a quarter in Swarga, which is a 2-room, 1 kitchen. And in my neighbor, somebody got a 3-room, 1 kitchen apartment. And then definitely I can't stand that. And I know that person who has got that quarter. Better quarter, of course, more than. And he was a fatwala in Delhi. And he has killed so many people. And Savita, such a person who is having so much of, did wrong actions here. And still he got a better quarter. Well, I can't accept it. So atrupti, it is there. It is there. If you go through Purana, you will find what kind of atrupti. Atrupti means it cannot give you total dissatisfaction. And therefore, and that is third one is a bandhakatva. Well, they are going to make me bound. And I don't want to be bound by shackles. I want to be free and enjoy also. And that won't happen. Therefore, well, I will still vote for Videha Mukti. I don't want Swarga, etc. Then Vidyaranya says, when if you have such a wonderful clarity about all these pleasures of the Swarga, etc., you are seeing these intrinsic defects in the pleasure, then you can grow out of these defects here itself. Why are you fulfilling your kama, raga, dvesha? Why are you going behind various pleasures? And you say, well, I can't handle them. Why are you saying like that? In fact, you can see more defects in the pleasure of this world compared to the pleasures of other world, Swarga, etc. Here there are more defects. And therefore, Vidyaranya says your argument is illogical, that basically I will vote for Videha Mukti, etc. And we can't handle our Raga Dvesha here in this life. And therefore I will not vote for Jnana Nishtha or Jivan Mukti, etc. Well, that kind of a logic is not proper. May you see the dosha in the pleasures of this world, and then you can definitely, your Raga Dvesha will come under your control. And so, because you need not fulfill. Why you need not fulfill? Because seeing the defects. Seeing the defects, you don't run behind it. That's all. That is what it is required. We don't want that basically my mind should be totally free from likes and dislikes. You don't run behind. Means you don't run behind means they make you run actually. And that brings a slavery of the mind. And therefore you don't run behind them. That's all. Seeing the defect. Once you know the defect very clearly, you may not opt for it. Well, then you are able to manage your ragadveshas, and you know what are the defects, etc. You nicely narrated to me, which I was also not aware of. And so, one more thing also is there. If you don't fulfill ragadveshas here, you get better pleasures. What is this? What are you talking? If I don't go behind pleasures, I will get better pleasures? Yeah, you get better pleasures. How do you say like that? It is told in Taittiriya Upanishad, Ananda Mimamsa. Anandavalli talks about it. That the person, basically, when you get a 1 unit of pleasure through one particular object, let's say that, then you can intelligently reject that object, seeing the defect, etc. Then you get 100 times more joy by giving up that object. And that is called a joy of a vairagya. And therefore, basically, vairagya born ananda is 100 times more than the ananda, generated by enjoying that object. And so, Teye Shatam Manushya Gandharvanam Anandaha Sa Eko Deva Gandharvanam Anandaha Shrotriyasya Cha Akamahatasya. Shrotriyasya. The person who is a Shrotriya means one who has gained Jnanam, and Akamahatasya, who is not running behind this, the objects, etc. Well, so he gets 100 times more Ananda compared to the Ananda which person gains through the enjoying that object. And therefore, Swayam Doshatama Atma is whose nature is a dosha only. Dosha Rupa. Atma here means Swarupa. Basically, Kama Krodha itself are doshas. And therefore, Kamadihi kim nahiyate. Since this is so Kamadihi, Kama Krodha, etc., why don't you give it up? Means you better give it up here itself, rather than voting for Videha Mukti and this thing, etc. Well, work for Jivan Mukti, work for Jnana Nishtha, work for assimilation, and that will occur automatically when you make your mind free from Tivra Jiva Srushta Dvaitam. And of course, Manda also. Now, verse number 54. So, Vidyaranya is talking to whom? That Madhyam Adhikari, right? Madhyam Adhikari. Verse number 54. Tattvam buddhvapi kamadin nishesham na jahasi chet yatheshta charanam te syat karma shastra tilanginaha. What will be the consequence of the Vedantic student who won't work for Jivan Mukti? Or let's say if Vedantic student allows, along with the study, etc., if he allows Kama Krodha also to flourish in the mind, what will happen to him? That is being told now. So definitely, more you study, more you automatically think everything is mithya. And therefore, person basically, his ragadveshas are there. And so ragadveshas now get a more freedom actually. And behind that there is a justification also that everything is mithya, etc. So basically person leads a licentious life. So after study of the Vedanta, well, Kamadin na jahasi chet. You are studying Vedanta and simultaneously Kamadin na jahasi. Kama Krodha, etc. you don't give up. Nishesham. It is Nishesham. I know I have given up. Many things I don't want. When I go to all this, what is that? All the superstores and etc., I find I don't require anything from all this. So I have a lot of vairagya in my mind. Yeah, but then you have a certain ragas and dveshas, etc., which will turn your boat in other direction. That's enough. One kama is enough, and kama is called smara. Smara means which just comes with the memory. Kamadeva is called smara, which which is present just by memory. You not outside, everything is fine, and in mind some desire occurred. हो गया काम. So your boat will be turned. So being Madhyam Adhikari, you have handled Ragadvesha partially, but still there are so many Ragadveshas, that will take away your morality, etc. And so life will become unrestrained, immoral, and when other people criticize, and you will start replying also, because now you have studied also, and so you will justify your violation of morality, etc. You will also say, what? Yogarato va, bhogarato va, sangarato va, sangavihinaha. And therefore, yasya brahmani ramate chittam, nandati eva. Well, I don't actually, whether I will be, doing a shravanam, or whether I will be enjoying the food. Well, I enjoy the life, and this all ultimately is mithya for me. Yogaratova, bhogaratova, sangaratova, sangavihina. Either I am with the people, either I am not with the people. I remain in equanimity, etc., etc. And so you can start justifying also, because now you have knowledge. So my mind is always, my mind revels in Brahman all the time. And therefore, basically, this is the way a person justifies. Half-cooked Vedanti, we call, his mind justifies all violation. And even God can't help to this person. God has helped he was brought to this teacher, and partial Ragadvesha Nivritti also was there, and therefore he received knowledge everywhere. Ishvara helped. But now, he in order to fulfill his own Ragadveshas which are there in his mind, now he is trying to justify through Vedanta, etc. Very, very difficult situation. So that is why in those days, Vedanta was not available to all the people, of course. Anyway, so yatheshta acharanam syat. Yatheshta means yatha ishtam. Yatha ishtam means, yatha means as. Ishtam means like. So as you like, you acharanam, you behave. As you like, you behave. Licentious life. And definitely while doing that, you will violate karma kanda, dharma basically. So that is being told here. Karma shastrati langinaha. Karma shastra. So karma shastrasya ati langinaha. Violator of karma shastra is dharma basically, morality, etc. And and then what will happen? Suppose if I do that, what will happen? Well, it creates a problem for you and creates a pratyavaya, because dharma says something else and you violate it. And so for abusing Vedanta, etc., you have gained knowledge and now you are abusing it, and therefore you will definitely get pratyavaya. And so here it says ati langina. So ati plus lang. Lang means to cross, to jump, to skip. And so ati langate iti ati langi. And we have word another, this word. Langanam parama aushadham. Langanam. Langanam means basically skipping, jumping the meal, right? Jumping the lunch. Langanam parama aushadham. Remaining hungry. So this is how it is. Here it says karma shastra ati langina. Karma shastrasya ati langina. That's a samasa actually. And it is hetu garbha visheshana. Since you will violate this dharma shastra, etc. Well, but karma shastra, why you call dharma shastra? That is how Jaimini defines. Jaimini, like our Brahma Sutra, Brahma Sutra is on Vedanta, Upanishads. And then Jaimini Rishi has made sutras for Veda Purva Bhaga. And he started this Purva Bhaga. First sutra is this. Athato Dharma Jignasa. Our Vyasacharya started Brahma Sutra with Athato Brahma Jignasa. He started Athato Dharma Jignasa. So entire Veda Purva Bhaga is looked upon as a dharma. And it is correct. It is correct. It's all religious activity. It may be a puja, ritual, everything. It's all related to Ishvara. And definitely with a certain attitude also. And therefore, it's basically one leads a life to like that. And then we say it is a religious life. Having all this, of course, vows are also there along with, so many things are there. And so, See, this Karma Shastra, the one thing I would like to tell is Karma Shastra, the Langinaha is a Hetu Garbha Visheshana. So Hetu Garbha Visheshana means there is a Hetu in his womb. So this is a Visheshana, this is an adjective which has basically a cause inside his womb. Means because you violate Dharma Shastra, you will have Yatheshta Acharanam. So Karma Shastra, the Langinaha Yatheshta Acharanam Syat. So you will do Yatheshta Acharanam. Why? Because you will definitely violate Dharma Shastra. Okay. So what? Okay, therefore then basically our Vidyaranya Swami gives an answer to that. 55. Buddhadvaita svatattvasya yatheshtacharanam yadi shunam tattvadrusham chaiva obhedo shuchi bhakshane. Here Vidyaranya quotes a verse from Nishkarmya Siddhi of Sureshwaracharya. And he says, what is difference between, Sureshwaracharya himself tells it, what is the difference between an animal and a human being? He shows a difference. See, animals, it is going by its prakriti. We call inclination, we call it instinct. So they are called, animals are called prakrita jivaha, which are totally committed to their prakriti. Prakriti means inclination, instinct, etc., their swabhava, etc. So an animal's life is basically governed by instinct, and it does not have to think whatever it does, that it is good for others or not, etc. They don't think like that. And and if they don't think, nobody finds fault also with them. Still, because definitely, like buffalo. Buffalo crosses a road when even red traffic signal is there. This cops, cops won't ask or basically or catch or imprison these buffaloes. Only cop is sent to the mental hospital if he does so. And therefore, basically, animals lead always a prakrita life. Whatever the nature is there, or instinct is there, based on they lead a life based on the instincts. Same way, the person's ragadveshas are instincts, basically. And I also act according to that. Then definitely there is no difference between a animal and myself. Only difference in a human being is because of his thinking power, and he can never implement ragadveshas unconditionally. So before implementation, he can put the condition. This ragadvesha I am going to fulfill, or this raga or this dvesha I am going to fulfill. Is it in keeping with dharma or not, etc. And so dharma is a controlling power. And that dharma has been, that kind of a, knowledge has been given to a human being. It's not that he has to study dharma shastra, etc. It has been given to the person. And so while choosing, he has a freedom to choose. And so he has to choose as per the dharma which is there, right there in the buddhi. And so if he doesn't choose like that and he just goes by what he likes, or then definitely his life is also instinctive. And so then there is no difference between a animal and a human being. That's what Sureshwaracharya tells in Nishkarmya Siddhi, which Vidyaranya quotes this verse bodily here in verse number 55. So after study of a Vedanta, if Vedanta has removed a speed breaker, okay, then definitely my life style should be governed by something else. Because you have studied so, and if you have a darshanam, clear darshanam, mithyatva darshanam, then it is fine. But sometimes it is not proper. That darshanam is not proper, and then person starts, some ragadveshas are there, and person leads a licentious life, instinctive life, etc., like animal. And therefore there should be, his lifestyle should be, the person who has received knowledge but not gained jnana nishtha, his lifestyle should be governed by dharma, etc. And but then what is the difference between a restrained jnani and restrained ajnani? That's a question. Because you say if the person has received knowledge, and for him dharma and adharma, everything has become mithya, etc. And the ajnani, he has not received knowledge, and he also has to go by dharma, etc. His choice also should be in keeping with dharma, etc. Dharma shastra, basically. So then both have to go via dharma shastra. Then what is the difference between them? between Jnani and Ajnani. So dharma, we say, well, in case of a Ajnani's pursuit basically of a dharma is a deliberate pursuit. And well, it is will based. Whereas in the case of a Jnani, this dharma pursuit of, dharma's pursuit, Jnani's pursuit basically, well, is just spontaneous. And therefore, it's intrinsic, we can say. Why it is spontaneous for a Jnani? Because basically he actually, when he could violate dharma, at that time he did not violate, and that's how he has gained a partial control over his raga dvesha. And therefore, when there was a chance, before gaining jnanam, etc., where he could violate dharma, at that time he did not violate, and now definitely he has gained jnanam also and a little say over his raga dvesha, etc. So he is incapable of violating dharma, and therefore basically, this travel is from deliberate dharma to spontaneous dharma. So we are telling to this Madhyamadhikari, don't come under the sway of basically your ragadveshas, thinking that I could not win over them, or at least I could not bring them under my control, and therefore I don't want Jnanishta, I don't want Jivan Mukti, etc. Don't say like that. Definitely you still, with your freedom, basically if you choose your likes and dislikes pertaining, in keeping with dharma, etc., well, then definitely you will be able to neutralize your ragadvesha. And therefore, a day will come, your nature will be your second nature will be like this, in which we will spontaneously follow dharma. And so, don't lead a licentious life, and otherwise will be what? Otherwise, this basically Sureshwaracharya ji is little harsh compared to Bhashyakara, and at several places I found him, and so he compares that the person who has got jnanam because of a certain say over his ragadvesha, but he has got jnanam, he has not got jnananishta because of certain obstacle of a still more ragadvesha. He is compared with the dog. He said this jnani will be otherwise a dog, because dog also basically they lead a licentious life wherever they want to go. That's how people in the morning, they have a ritual. They what is the ritual? Take the dog out, walk the dog, and so therefore basically they go with that dog, and you will find dog goes here and there. Otherwise, why should they keep a chain or something? A strip, etc. So they run here and there. Same way, well, basically this Jnani also, well, even after receiving knowledge, if he goes by his ragadvesha, etc., then he and a dog, both lifestyle of a dog or lifestyle of a Jnani won't be much difference. So if that filter is removed of this dharma, etc., then that difference will not remain. So Vidyaranya quotes Sureshwaracharya ji here. Yadi means suppose Buddha Advaita Swatatvasya, if there is a Jnani who has understood his own real nature, that I am Advaita Swarupam, etc. So here it's a samasa. Buddham Advaita Swatattvam Yena Saha Jnani. So one who knows Advaita Swarupam, Advaita Swatattvam. Swatattvam means one's own nature. And Buddham known, and what is that? Advaitam, well, the person has gained knowledge, but Yatheshta Charanam, one would lead a licentious life through because of a ragadvesha, etc. You see, Yatheshta Acharanam can be divided into three. They call it as a Kamavadaha, Kamacharaha, one, Kamavadaha, second, and Kama third. So this licentious life can be divided into three. Licentious life gets expression at the three level. Let's say that way. Kamacharaha. Kama means, as I told you, doing. Charaha means some kind of a doing. So doing whatever one likes is called Kamacharaha. Getting up whenever one likes. Getting up. Because for a Hindu, the main thing is you should welcome sunrise. And therefore you should get up early, you should take bath and finish everything, and then you should be ready for welcoming the sun in the morning. That's a Hindu life. But this person basically gets up after sun comes in the middle. So basically, so that kind of a thing. And so, and even other things also, after puja etc. in the morning one should do breakfast. But people do that, what is that, bad tea or what? Just sitting in the, they just get up in the bed and there itself they drink the tea and then they get down, etc. So this is called kamachara. Doing whatever one likes. What the Shastra says, let it say. I will do in my own way because this is what I like. So traditional way of life is this anyway. And well, this Jnani also does this and Ajnani also does this. Then it is Yatheshtacharanam. Jnani, Ajnani both continue to do like this, then there is no difference. Then Kamavadaha, whatever occurs to the person in his mind, he blurts out. And therefore, Anudvega, Bhagavan said in chapter 17, Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyam hitam chayat Anudvega karam. So, well, it should not generate a udvega in other person, etc. Satyam priyam hitam. So, you whatever words occur in your mind, filter them. That's all. Filter them. That, and if you don't filter, it is kamavada. And so, and after filtering, you will find you have hardly anything to speak. You have hardly anything to speak. So, and if you don't, filter, and then unregulated speech. That's called a Yatheshtacharanam, and specifically it is called Kamavada. And the third one is a Kama Bhaksha, dumping anything in the mouth. Whatever is there, dumping anything in the mouth, and it's a garbage, another type of a garbage. So there is a Vaishvanara inside, and therefore there is a Medhyam and Amedhyam. They always call like this, Medhyam. And certain food you should not, because it is ultimately offering to the Vaishvanara, to the Parameshwara, and therefore certain food you should avoid, but this person eats also whatever he likes. So suppose a person gains Jnanam, Buddham, that's what it says. Buddham Advaita Satattasya Yatheshtacharanam Yadi. If this person who has gained knowledge that, well, I am Advaita Sarupa, etc., and now he is having that Yatheshtacharanam, he whatever he likes, he does, whatever he likes, he speaks, or whatever he likes, he eats, etc., then Kaha Bhedaha. What is the difference between what? Shunam Tattva Drusham Cha Shunam. There is a Shwan, Nakaranta Shabda, Pullinga, Shwan Shabda. It's a dog and it's a sixth case, Shunam. So Shunaha, Shunoho, Shunam. Shwa, Shwano, Shwanaha, etc. There are the forms. And Shunaha, Shunoho, Shunam. So this is all Nirdharana. Nirdharana Shashti. Kaha Bedaha, Shunam Tattva Drusham Madhye. What is the difference between these dogs or Tattva Drisham? Tattva Druk means this Jnani. One who Tattvam Pashyati iti Tattva Druk. One who knows this truth. One who knows oneself. Such a Jnani. Well, and this is a dog. What is the difference between them? If Yatheshtacharanam, and the dog also leads a licentious life, and this also leads a licentious life. And Vidyaranya makes it a little more, clear. Kaho Vedaha Ashuchi Bhakshane. Ashuchi Bhakshane means unrestrained eating, etc. I mean, unrestrained doing, unrestrained speaking. We have to take it, all this. So, they say any food basically is impure if it is not offered to the Lord. That's how we say, through Bhagavad Gita only. So, then what? But I am eating in the dining hall where there is no temple there. But then how will I offer? Just close your eyes and remember Lord and offer. And so this is Ashuchi Bhakshani. So a person if it is not offered, or whatever one likes, one eats. Some and they eat also this, garlic and the. Well, I should not say that because many people, our own people, are eating garlic and other things. And therefore, if I say something, classes will be closed. So I don't want to say anything. But then, anything person likes, he eats. That kind of a thing. Especially the certain food which is available outside. Somebody warned me, Swamiji, don't eat. Even they look very innocent, but in America itself, certain foods you should not take from outside. Ready-made food, etc. Anyway, this is just by the way. So, Ashuchi Bhakshane. And here this is a Vishaya Saptami. Ashuchi Bhakshana Vishaye. With respect to the eating which is Ashuchi, which is impure. Well, dog also eat impure. That's how dog generally, is kept away. I mean, this is again I'm addressing to American audience where people generally keep even dogs also and cats also and whatnot. But our own certain swamis, I don't name, but those swamis are little strict. They say, well, don't keep all these dogs, etc. Keep them away, keep them away. Don't allow them to sleep along with you, and they move here in your temple, in the home also, and everywhere they keep moving. Don't keep them. Keep them away. Keep them away. That's true. Because so far as Veda etc. is concerned, we consider this dog etc. a very ashuchi animal. Then we are not allowing them to move around even in the Yagashala and Pakashala and I mean kitchen and everywhere. Because they eat that kind of a thing, ashuchi. Anyway, and this person, Jnani, also eats whatever he likes. On the name of Yogaratova, Bhogaratova, everything is ultimately mithya. I am no more a bhokta, etc. Therefore, this is a warning for a Madhyama Adhikari that better you come out of your hold of Ragadvesha, etc. Otherwise, Yatheshtacharanam Syat. So instead of becoming GOD, you become Ulta, DOG. This will happen. This will happen. So better you be away from this. Verse 56. Bodhat pura mano dosha matrat klishnasyatha dhuna ashesha loka nindacha ityahote bodha vaibhavam. And he is giving a warning, something more also. Vidyaranya. He says there is another consequence also. This is what we have said. But when Jnani violates this dharma, he is criticized by society. So people, basically revere this Kashaya Vastram, basically. And so people don't know from where you come. And you also don't say. Because sannyas is mulam, you should not ask. So people also don't ask. So they don't know from where you are, from which ashram you are, or what is your origin. Nothing you can ask. And still you welcome them. Right? Such a thing is there. So any sannyasi means people start giving a respect, especially in India. So moment people saw this kind of a vastra, etc., which represent jnanam, people start giving respect, giving namaskara, etc. And if such a person violates a dharma, and then people will notice, then people will look down upon himself. Yadyada charati shreshtaha tatta deve taro janaha, etc. So responsible guides, etc. of a society when violate the dharma, he becomes a bad example of a Shastra. That's another. That's the height of what should I say? It's an insult to the Shastra. Because he has studied Shastra, he has connected himself to the Shastra, and then he does this kind of a thing. So people will lose faith in the validity of the Shastra itself. Because they say that after studying 20 years of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad, the way this fellow is caught or behave, well, that brings a lot of defamation to the Shastra itself. So criticism not just go to the Shastra, to the person, but goes to the Shastra also. People will not study them. Definitely they will not study. They think that even after study, well, that no change occurs in a person, and this fellow is an example for that. Well, the whole group is criticized. Other good swamis also get criticized. Whole parampara gets criticized. Sannyasi is criticized, Shastra is criticized, Sampradaya is criticized, everything is criticized. His guru is criticized. I tell you, I have heard. The poor guru, he led a very, very respectful life, very, very pure life. And if this fellow does this kind of a job, then his guru also gets criticized. His guru also comes under defamation and all that. So don't do this. It brings a lot of disservice to the entire parampara also. So don't do this kind of a disservice. Control your ragadvesha, etc. That's what to Madhyamadhikari we are saying. You are already a jnani because you have received the knowledge. because of a partial condition of your mind, and partially some of the raga dveshas you have neutralized, and so you have received knowledge also. So now you are a jnani. So behave in a responsible way. So if you are a shastric student, your responsibility increases. If you are not connected to shastra, to a teacher, to a parampara, then it's a different thing. But if you are connected, well, it brings a tremendous responsibility. So, and all this is thing occur because of raga dveshas which are there in your mind. So better you control them. So we are talking about this tivra ashastriya jiva dvaitam should be removed immediately in order to gain the benefit of jivan mukti, etc. And all, if it is not there, and then well, if you try to justify, let it be there. I will get at least videya mukti, etc. Whether I may get Jnana Nishtha or not, I may not get a Jivan Mukti or not, well, let them be there, and I will try to fulfill if it is too much pressure of my Raga Dvesha, and then well, I will complete my Prarabdha and then I will get Videha Mukti. Don't think so. This all thing will occur. That's what he says. Bodhat Pura, before studying the Shastra, Manodosha Matrat Klishnati. You are disturbed by your Kama, Krodha, etc. before studying Shastra, but they are confined to you only. People did not expect much from you. When you don't study Shastra, people will know that he is angry and he is having a certain lust and this and that. So where people notice, but then they won't criticize too much because they themselves are under the same in the same boat. But once you are connected to Shastra, receive the knowledge also, do Shravanam, etc., get exposure to teaching, etc., and then so that's how it says here, Adhuna, means after Vedantic study. So now this your problems of this Kama, Krodha or Raga Dvesha will not remain private. Society will have certain expectation from you, and people don't find you fall short of it. Then Ashesha Loka Nindacha, then Ninda also will be an additional problem. And people will say, Ahote Bodha Vaibhavam, Wah, what a wonderful knowledge you have gained. You are studying so many bhashyam and tikas and tippanis and so much study. Daily 6 hours, 7 hours study you are doing. You are taking classes also. Wow, what a knowledge you have. We can see from your life that really knowledge shines in you, etc., etc. And therefore, that kind of a thing will be there. Anyway, further we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.